Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm joined by my legendary co-hosts, Scott the Goon and Rob the Red Devil, and I'm RJ, for those who don't know. But we welcome you to a special guest episode, just ourselves, but it's going to be a cracking one. Boys, how are we?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Living the dream. Still locked down, getting by day. The hair's getting all a bit grey. The hair's getting a bit long. I'm going to start looking like Robbie soon.
Yep. 8 weeks without a haircut, mate. I feel like a caveman right now.
Jeez Louise.
Meanwhile, I just came from a fresh shave. I'm trying to look as schmick as possible. Not that I'm working with much these days.
Boy,
the older and bolder I get, but it's good fun. It's always good to unpack the week that was, even though the preseason's back upon us. And of course, the transfer frenzy continues to heat up. So for those who haven't had a chance yet, hey, Robbie, you still there, brother?
Yeah, might have to jump back in, Robbie.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, as I was saying, for those who haven't had a chance, we'd love for you to and subscribe.
And RJ, we've got a big game to talk about, my man, because we locked horns this morning. Midnight, didn't have to go to bed before, but it was an interesting game. Congratulations, you got up. What were your general thoughts on the match?
Yeah, no, it was. It's always a great contest, whether or not it's a pre-season, it's a Champions League final, whatever it is. Chelsea Arsenal always draws an interesting set of talking points. My overall high-level thoughts for that, it was a very open game, lots of end-to-end action, could have had more goals from both teams. I don't know how much the managers will take out of this match, apart from getting some more minutes for both sets of players, but just generally nice to see that both teams are willing to have a bit of a go and, yeah, trust their instincts and just try to avoid injury as much as possible. What about you, Scott?
Look, to me, I don't put a whole heap into preseason matches. Honestly, to me, it's more about the performance than the result, which probably sounds like something you'd say when your team have lost it. But to me, it's definitely more about the performance. Now, I'm feeling a little bit concerned after that performance because, to me, Chelsea carved us open with ease on multiple occasions. And had it not been for old mate Werner and, some other poor finishing from your team, you probably could have beaten us by a fair few. Robbie's just had a few technical difficulties. We'll try pop him back in. Robbie, how's that audio?
Can you hear me, boys?
We can hear you. Can you hear RJ?
All right, cool. I couldn't hear RJ before. I could just hear Scott. Sorry, boys. I'm back.
No, all good. Look, before I go further, good evening to some of these legends in the chat. Concierge of Crime, welcome back. I'm sure you're a happy blue. RCBN, welcome. Yeah, Rob definitely is the referee tonight, so we'll see how he goes with it. But to me, look, like I said, I was really concerned defensively at how easily we were opened up. Those long balls over the top, hitting us on the break. We were trying to play a high line, which
it's a very silly tactic, wasn't it? I just could not for the life of me. I understand it's preseason. They're trying to impose their game and put the press on us. But why would you leave so much space behind with the likes of Werner and Havertz? They're notoriously quick players. It just seemed like a crazy tactic to me.
Yeah, to me, it was insane. And I can only kind of rationalize it by thinking that might be one of the ways Arteta wants to play during the season when we've got Gabriel and Ben White starting. So maybe he was just trying to ingrain that system. But to me, Rob Holding is not renowned for his pace. He's got as much pace as you do here, RJ. So he's certainly not very quick. I didn't think it was the match to do it, regardless of it being a friendly. We never want to lose to Chelsea or any of our rivals. So to me, it seemed to backfire because Havertz and Werner were getting in behind us with ease, and you honestly should have put about 3 away in that first half. I think the finishing was a little bit concerning, but it is still preseason. Robbie, I don't know if you managed to catch the first goal, the one from Kai Havertz. What did you think of the finish?
I thought the through ball and the finish was pretty pretty great on both. Like I said, obviously it's not my team, so I just kind of done a good old YouTube's 6-minute clip. But from what I've seen, it was a very open and entertaining match for a preseason game. It was, I guess, good for all the boys to get some minutes in their legs. But yeah, I thought all the goals that were scored were good, but the chances created, man, there was a few posts, a crossbar. I think there was one chance thought it was definitely going to be a goal. I think it could have been the Ziyech one when he chipped him over, and then it was a bit of a thing, and then he ended up saving it. But look, man, it was good. And was it Tammy Abraham that got the second one? Was it?
It was Arsenal's next signing, Tammy.
Yeah, but look, bit of confidence for him, and I know it is pre-season, but from what I've seen only in that 6-minute video, man, Chelsea looked good. Look, you both look good, but very open, as you guys said.
Hey, RJ, I wanted to ask you, as I was watching the game, now I'm going to drop a little bit of a spoiler. Havertz is somebody who is in my fantasy team. I'm predicting he's going to have a really big season. He entered the season strong. He looked nice in the Euros. Do you think, now hypothetically, let's say you don't sign a striker, and we'll get to transfers soon enough because I don't see Haaland coming now. Let's say you don't sign a striker. Do you think that German connection between Havertz and Werner is enough for you to be competing for the title? Because with your squad and an ambitious manager, I see you wanting no less than competing for that title.
Yeah, that's a very fair question. And we all saw the quality. And it's not just against your team, Scott. It's not just a Champions League final. But ever since he recovered from his COVID-interrupted season, he's continued to improve his fitness, and traditionally he actually starts to play better in the second half of season, so he very much followed suit. But to your question, is the German duo enough to propel us for a genuine title challenge? I'm a pretty optimistic guy, but I'm also very balanced, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure that it's enough on their own, just because it's a very long season. There's a lot of twists and turns, and while I have a lot of confidence in what Havertz brings to the table in that false nine, or even when he's playing all out in a striker area, I actually think the team collectively probably isn't getting the best from him if he's not been able to play just that little bit deeper and in a more fluid freestyle role. So look, I think in some situations he can fill a job and do a good role for us, but not together for a whole season. I would say we probably would need an out-and-out striker.
Yeah, interesting. I just wanted to point out a couple of comments from the live chat. I knew this was coming. I was kind of not looking forward to this. Concierge of Crime. Fancy the masters of the preseason Mickey Mouse Cups getting bodied by Bubba Rahman and Danny Drinkwater. The mighty have fallen. Look, your definition of getting bodied and mine are a little bit different, my man, but respect to you. Glad you're here anyway. Another one, yes, and we will be talking about this in a moment. To be fair, Arsenal did get an equaliser, which wasn't given. A nice finish by Joe Willock, someone I'm hoping stays to play a part, and we'll talk about that shortly. Another point here on that striker front, even if Chelsea do sign a striker, Havertz and Werner will start the first few games. It's interesting with them too, because Havertz came in as the man who was going to create for Werner, and Werner came in as the man who was meant to be banging him away. They've almost done the old switcheroo to me. I feel like they've switched. Robbie, does the prospect of facing Werner and Havertz put a little bit of fear into you?
Oh, definitely. I think they're both class players. And the issue is they've had that one season now to mellow into the Premier League, to get that little bit of their chemistry working. Like I said, we can all see Timo Werner last year. Look, if you look at his numbers, he was probably better more in the assisting part. But I think now that they've kind of got to know the league, I think they will be a little bit more clinical this year. The thing for me is with Chelsea, they've lost Giroud, which was a great person to have off the bench. But you've got Tammy there. You've got people like Batshuayi. Is he gone on loan again? Are they going to keep him now as a come off the bench kind of guy for a spark? Like, that's what I want to know. Because you guys, Callum Hudson-Odoi, they've got depth in that team. So to say that they want to go out and buy a striker, yes, okay, everyone wants a world-class striker, but I still think they've got decent players there to do the job.
RJ,
I just wanted to add to that. I think Rob makes a good point about who we do have that probably don't get talked about enough. But I think the reason why most of the Chelsea community talk about needing that world-class striker is because based on last year's stats, and I can't quote them off the top of my head, but I know that they indicated that we were right up there in terms of chances created, and we just really lacked that potent finisher. So I think for us to really bridge the gap between the cities, and United have strengthened, a lot of these other teams are starting to improve their squads around us. And we know that teams will be coming for us in the sense of we found a few clubs out by surprise with Tuchel's mid-season introduction. So undoubtedly, we're going to need to reinvent ourselves yet again. So for me, look, Batshuayi, he played a good game last night. I'll call it out. He played well. Hudson-Odoi's been very strong during pre-season. But I think for us, it's just that whole depth issue. Like we said, Giroud's gone. He's Mr. Experienced and reliable. He's gone now. Tammy very much looks like he's going to be phased out, even though I'm not sure I fully support it, only if we were to supplement him with someone better. But for us, look, again, Havertz could be a bit of a victim of his own versatility in the sense that he has been delivering in front of goal and not necessarily playing his more preferred position in terms of the right-sided attack or in that sort of cam area. But look, like RCBN said before, they will probably start together for the first few games, given that Werner, we all like to have a bit of a laugh about how inefficient he is in front of goal. But like you said, Rob, too, he has been better at the assist category, and they're equally as useful to me. But it's not even just the assist. It's almost like the assist before the assist in terms of the space he creates by pulling defenders apart. And that's the stuff that doesn't quite make the statistics. So, look, overall, being honest as I can, I'm not going to get too gassed up by what I saw against Arsenal because it's still very early days. Arsenal, on the other hand, they created some good chances, but both teams tinkered with their lineup. We did dramatically after the 65th minute. It was a Chelsea I barely even recognised. But one player that really excites me, and I think if he can continue to impress during pre-season, he might cause a few question marks in terms of whether or not we loan or keep him on board, and that's Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He was really good last night, and he's someone that could be a bit of an X factor because he brings about skill, strength, and he has got that little bit of touch of class. So he's very much a wild card for me on top of Hudson-Odoi.
Absolutely.
One more, sorry, quickly, I'll just to you again. Like I said, I know it's a big talking point in League United. Like people have asked me, look, if the window was to close tomorrow, are you happy with your business? If the window did close tomorrow and you guys didn't happen to bring in a striker, are you happy with that? Or, 50-50?
Yeah, more 50-50. Actually, I'd probably even say more 70-30, as in I'd be more upset, to be honest, just because I know we've spent a lot of time offloading a lot of players to generate money. So if we're generating money, it's just what are we doing with that investment? So, yeah, for me, that's an area. They're in the DM, not so much other areas of the pitch.
Yeah, fair enough.
Looking at the match stats, one thing that stood out to me was the physicality of Chelsea. To me, I thought if that was a Premier League fixture, that yellow cards statistic would have been much higher on your end because you were very physical. You almost bullied us a little bit in the physical challenges. But the refereeing to me last night, I know it's only a friendly, but it terrifies the heck out of me because we're about to go into a Premier League season and every week we found ourselves having to go on about the refs. I'm hoping that that's not a preview because having a look at this image, I'm just going to share another screen with you boys. Bear with me. Having a look at this image, and I can see the smirk on your face, RJ. You know what's going on. You know what I'm about to put up on the screen. What a farce. That goal is over the line. That ball is over the line.
It's a funny angle. You can't really tell.
I'm not being gracious. I'm not being humble. The result of that friendly was 2-2 for me. But before I give you a chance to reflect, I just wanted to point out a couple of comments. Concierge of Crime, off topic, but up the Matildas, up Samiko. Absolutely, that's kicking off soon. And we can't wait to tune into that as well. I'll definitely have one eye there. Some stats on Timo. He did get 12 goals and 12 assists in all competitions. He can only improve. Hard to argue with that. Paran telling me I need to get my eyes checked. That ball was over the line. There's video footage too, but I'm not going there. Trust me, Pram, over the line, my man. It was a clear goal. And that would be Joe Willock's 8th goal in 8 appearances against Premier League teams consecutively. He's the man. And one more I wanted to point out, TKO Hazard, thanks for joining us, mate. As a Chelsea fan, I'd be happy to wait until the next transfer window. Got to remember, most of our boys have only been there a season. Some really interesting comments. We do have such an insightful group here. RJ, tell me that's a goal. Be gracious, be humble, admit that
the
should
Lampard
have
goal, mate. Germany and England,
Exactly.
mate. It looks like
Shades
that.
of Lee, exactly right. Look, I'll call it how it is. It's mistakes happen, but I'd rather a mistake in a preseason friendly than one of our key players getting sent off in an FA Cup final. So, I'd rather get robbed in that match. Yeah, exactly. I sent you a link actually, so show us that on the screen.
It's not coming up on the screen. I can't find it, unfortunately. Yeah, I do need my eyes checked according to Bram.
That's all right.
Before we move on, big ups to my man Laurie. He wears glasses, and even he can see it's over the line. He's a gooner as well, so top lad. I know that he can see that too. Look, for me, I just want to kind of wrap up the performance and talk about, for me, my reflections on that before the season kicks off, and then maybe give you a chance to do the same. To me, the positives were Thomas Partey. I thought he looked immense before that injury, but there's some footage that's come out that maybe that injury is not as bad as we first feared. He was absolutely bossing that midfield to me. I want to see a more consistent Thomas Partey this season. He's had some time to adjust. Eddie Nketiah, someone I want to point out, he got a lot of flack last season. I'm guilty of giving him some of that, saying that he wasn't good enough. But when he's come on in preseason, he has looked sharper. He's looked like he's worked hard. So if he gets a move, good on him. I'd wish him well. But if not, he might be someone who can add a little bit of an attacking threat to our team. My 2 biggest concerns are, number one, Aubameyang is not firing, and I cannot put my finger on it. He was shifted to the left last night. I was hoping that might reinvigorate him a bit, but he's still had a couple of really good chances that he didn't do good enough with. The other concern is that high line, that press. Without Gabriel and Ben White starting, we cannot play that way. We got torn to pieces. I could just picture Leicester doing that with Jamie Vardy. I could picture, City doing that with their pace. I just don't want to see us playing that way without Gabriel and Ben White. But my last kind of closing thought on Aubameyang is, I know he's a confidence player. I know that if Aubameyang, and I have faith that if he can bang in 1, 2, maybe 3, the confidence will come back and he will be that lethal striker that we know he can be. So I'm not giving up on him. I think he's just 1 or 2 goals away from reigniting. So,
I've got to say, look, I have to just, I'm smiling because not that I doubt Aubameyang, but you criticise Werner for the same thing. We know he's got the talent, he's got the speed. He could very much be someone, had he converted his chances, we're talking about a golden boot contender.
Oh, so, absolutely.
Look, I'm not sure. I'm not going to say he's going to go light up the Premier League this season, but I'm fairly confident he's going to be a lot more acclimatised. He had a bit of a rest and recharge. But I actually thought you made some good shout-outs. I even thought Smith Rowe played a pretty good – Tini actually played a good game. I thought he was quite strong. He kept us pretty honest at the back. But even a couple of our youngsters impressed too in Dujon Sterling. He came on in the second half. Chalobah played the centre-back the whole game. And it's not easy keeping the likes of Lacazette and Aubameyang quiet. But for me, the Moroccan magician, he's showing some really promising signs. Hakim Ziyech, not only – let's put his disappointing open goal miss to the side for a second because he was too clever and cute. But in that first half in particular, his press, how many times he won the ball in your half, and there was that one time he had that vicious first-time pass to release Werner, and he scuffed his shot, but he looks like someone that he's the player that we bought from Ajax. So I'm really keen to see how he comes on this season for us.
Absolutely. It was good friendly. I'm looking forward to when the action kicks off soon. If you have just joined us, please hit that like button. Please make sure you've subbed if you haven't already. We have a big lineup this week. Tomorrow evening, we have Scott McDonald, former Celtic FC, Middlesbrough, Western Sydney Wanderers player, and Socceroo. So it's not every night you get a Socceroo and a guy who's played in the Champions League and at the very highest level on your show. So please tune in for that one. Help share it around. We know he'll give good insight. And we are doing our official Premier League season preview show on Thursday evening. So we'll definitely be unpacking everything and giving some bold predictions. That's not a pun in reference to RJ's head.
I'm out of here, mate. I'm out of here. That's deliberate. Just take the loss, mate, gracefully.
I don't have any grace. There's none. Let's talk about a couple of transfers and some stories. This is kind of just broken between when we put the tweet out for the show and when we kicked it off. But this is some big news. I'll just zoom in on that a little bit. And it's from our friend Fabrizio, who joined us in our last episode. He should have dropped this with us. Confirmed, Harry Kane has not shown up for Spurs training. It's been told that it's Harry's choice and not related to a COVID test. He's assuming he had a gentleman's agreement with the club and he should be leaving. This is huge. Very huge. Both of your clubs could potentially have a vested interest in Harry Kane. And we know that your neighbours in Manchester, Robbie, certainly have an interest. We might start with you, Rob. What do you think of this news? And do you think this is the end for Kane at Spurs?
I think he wants a way out. I think he definitely wants to move to that next step. Now he wants to pretty much he wants a trophy. He needs a trophy. Someone of his caliber, especially I think as well with this, although the Grealish talk in the last few days, how City are starting to table an offer because we've only got 2 weeks to the season start. So that's the thing. That's the weird thing. As a lot of people will know, a big transfer like this just doesn't happen overnight. It's normally months and months and months paperwork. Plus, obviously, you've got Daniel Levy there. So for me, I think Kane said, "Hey, look, I've done everything for you guys." Obviously, he's thought that he's had a gentleman's agreement, or he said something possibly last year. Said, "I want a way out," and I said, "Stay another year," or he would have said to him, "Hey, if they've given a certain price, can I go?" I don't think he's going to do the dirty on him, but I think he does want to leave. And it's looking similar to the whole, Jack Grealish thing. So for me, I just don't know if it's going to happen. Honestly, I'll be amazed if it does happen, but I'm sure Harry Kane wants it to happen.
RJ, forget Haaland. What about Harry Kane in blue?
Why not? He's a proven striker. Tons of Premier League experience. He's been there, done that. I wish he could say he's won that, but maybe if he joins Chelsea, he can say that. But, in all seriousness, he's one of the, in my opinion, of course, one of the top 5 strikers in the world at this very day. He's someone that's proven to be reliable. I suppose what gives me not cause for concern, but cause for consideration is that he has been injury prone. We know this guy does have a fair few weeks off throughout the season just because of how hard he works. So it's not a criticism of him by any means, but it's just the reality of playing at the top flight in arguably the most physical league in Europe, at least. So for me, look, I rated this one as the most unlikeliest of chances when you compare the Haalands, the Lukakus, the Lewandowskis, and then the Kanes, because they're the sort of top echelon, I'd like to think. But if this sort of news unfolds, he is a local lad, and we do have the money to stump up, you just don't know in this crazy market. I just think, for me, Man City looks like the destination for him, as I reckon that it's somewhere he probably just doesn't want to hurt his legacy too much and come to Chelsea because he has a lot of bad blood, especially that season when we did stop them from winning the league. I'll never forget the Battle of the Bridge. I know that culture and tradition is not that important to everyone these days, but if he has the opportunity to join Chelsea or City, he probably doesn't see either or as too much of a step up or step down. So he's got options aplenty. He's going to get paid a stack of money, but more importantly, he will increase his chances significantly of becoming a Premier League winner or a Champions League winner. So look, probably City, if he's leaving anywhere. Would we take him? 100%. I'm happy to say that.
Let's look at some of the comments from the live chat before we get into the Kane talk. Arsibian, again, great friend of the show. Smash those likes, guys. We need a few more on this video. The boys are back together. We haven't had the three of us in a while. Last time we were here, it was Fabrizio instead of Rob, and I sure as heck miss Rob. So I'm glad Robbie's back. hit those likes, get it up. But let's look at what some of the live chat was saying about Kane. I hope Kane stays or comes to Chelsea, but those scenarios are unlikely. Man City will get him. Yeah, look, that's where my instinct is as well. Man City, TKO Hazard, stay in London, come to Chelsea. Surely City can't pay for Grealish and Kane in the same window.
Good point.
Look, they probably, if it's a question of could they, I would say they can, but would they and can they? Probably different story.
Kane would have to be over 100 million, and if they're just about to table 100 million for Grealish, I think Tottenham would want 150 for a sell. So that's a lot, 250 million.
Yeah.
Is there a scenario where he stays at Spurs, man? Crazy enough, and he's playing in the Conference League, man.
We've got to put into perspective as well the way that football Twitter is. This has literally just come out, and we're only using one or two sources. We may find in 24 hours that there's a perfectly logical reason behind this, and the club may come out and kind of put these rumours to bed. But at the moment, we can only work with what we've got. A couple more from the live chat. Param, Kane shouldn't have signed that contract. Still 3 years left, and it would suck for Spurs if they were forced to sell. I have to admit, even though I need my eyes checked, I would probably need them checked from all the tears coming out because I would be weeping for Spurs. Tears of joy. And Tom, Premier League's already deep into City's accounts. Can't see them doing both Grealish and Kane. Think he's stuck at Spurs.
Well, you know what? But you know what? Just on that, like, I agree. If you're just looking at in terms of buying both of them, but is that assuming that they're not equally going to be offloading any players to offset some of that? So, you know, and that's probably something that doesn't get spoken about enough, I think, given how good
Sterling and Mahrez are guys whose names have come up. Aguero's wages are now off the books. Look, but to me, financial fair play is a toothless tiger. I can't see them getting pulled up on it, to be honest. And I think they will get one of the two, Grealish or Kane. It's just who Pep really wants more. So, but to me, there's been this kind of question of loyalty. People have come out and said that he should be loyal to Spurs or questioning the loyalty of players. Now, to me, I've always had the same stance. This is not me speaking as an Arsenal fan. This is me speaking as a neutral who has no interest in Harry Kane. He owes Spurs nothing. He has given a large portion of his career, his performances, his effort to that club. They know where his level of ambition is. As the England captain and one of the players recognised as a top striker, they needed to do better by him and surround him with talent that could help lighten that load. Now, I actually think Spurs have let him down, and they potentially should. Every club at some point has been held to ransom by a player. It's their turn, and I don't see it being a question of loyalty. I don't think you can question Harry Kane on that. We lost Thierry Henry because he wanted to go and win things. We lost Cesc Fabregas. Every club has lost big players. I think Kane has not let Spurs down in any way, and he should be able to get his move. Robbie, do you think there's any loyalty in football these days, man?
Man, nothing like it was back in the day. But I think you wrapped that up perfectly. What you said. I think he's done his services for Spurs. They've got to that point where they still didn't cross the line. He's made a Champions League final. They've had a couple title challenges that didn't happen. As I said, his injuries aren't getting any easier. He's not getting any younger. This is the point now where he wants to go down. He wants to tell his grandchildren one day, I'm a Premier League winner. If you take that extra 3 years at Spurs, he'll become, 30, 31. He could have worse injuries. And he's always going to go down as the guy that won a golden boot at a World Cup, not a Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. RJ?
Yeah, look, just for being devil's advocate, but for the fact, and I've said this before publicly and privately, I'm fully on board, but could the other side of his mindset or other fans' mindsets be that if Tottenham, who have been fairly active this window, at least speculatively, if they were to strengthen, should he give them another chance to sort of say, look, we're trying our best to really improve the strength of our squad, and you did sign an extension, and if we don't get the value that we think we deserve because you're our best asset, then sorry, we're a business too. And unless we get the right value for you, we have no obligation to sell you because you agreed to sign that big deal and get paid handsomely. So it goes both ways. Like that's,
I think it's dangerous though. I think that's dangerous because you'll get to a point then where players don't sign extensions and there's meant to be some kind of gentleman's agreement. I think that and I'm not saying this is your view, RJ, but if we kind of look at it that way, that, oh, well, you shouldn't have signed an extension, we're not letting you go, we'll just keep letting you down, then you'll get players not signing contracts and every player will run it down, have their pick of clubs, which I don't think helps football either. So, look, it's interesting times at Spurs. We'll have to keep our eyes open on that.
Sure.
RJ, any updates? And I know we'll wrap this one up shortly because the Matildas are kicking off.
The mighty Matildas.
That's it, our mighty Matildas. RJ, I know Chelsea have been on the hunt for a striker, according to all the rumours. This has come up in the live chat. Do you think Martinez could be an option? Is he someone you'd want? Or do you think the most likely striker coming in is someone else? Just a quick word.
Yeah, just very quickly. Yeah, look, obviously a bit of an Inter fan too, you probably noticed. But no, I like him. I like him a lot. Ideal scenario is he stays put. Probably won't, of course, given our financial situation over there. I just don't see him to be the type of profile of striker we're looking for. See, I watched Inter quite a lot last season, and yes, he's quite fast. He's very technically strong, and geez, he's really got a good shot on him. But I just think he worked well by having a focal point and having like someone like a Lukaku there to play off. So for us, I actually think unless we were to lose like one of our pacier outside forwards, then I think he would come into the fold. But no doubt any club, I think, would benefit from going for him. I just don't think he's the profile we're looking for of what's missing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to the live chat. Welcome to the channel, Omar. I haven't seen you in here before, but welcome to the family. Spurs is not an ambitious club. Nothing further enforces that than when they failed to sign Antonio Conte. Nuno is a bottom 10 manager. Kane's elite and deserves better. Look, that's kind of echoing my sentiments that the club have let Kane down, not the other way around. But Omar, tune into our show on Thursday when we do our Premier League season preview, because we'll be talking about managers that we think may be first sacked. We'll be talking about the top 6 relegation. So Spurs will definitely feature in that conversation. Boys, were there any other transfers you wanted to quickly mention before we wrap this up? Robbie, anything for you? It's all been quiet since Varane.
Yeah, for us, I said, as Fab said the other day, it's all kind of gone quiet. I still think maybe on the last day, I reckon we'll have a crack at what's his name from our right back, Trippier. I think we might have a crack at him late on. Besides that, man, look, and if it was the end like tomorrow, I can't say I'm not happy. I mean, we've been back. We've got 2 players that will come into our starting 11. Like I said, they will have to take some time to get used to the Premier League. But for me, Varane and Sancho, I'm very happy with that. Yeah.
RJ, any closing thoughts or players you wanted to mention, my man?
No, I suppose just the noise around Koundé from a centre-back position that's heating up. And I think if we can land him, 22 years old, promising prospect of a player, done it all from a Spain point of view, hopefully we can wrap that up, even if it means we have to part ways with Zuma, who's possibly part of that deal. So we'll have to watch this space.
Absolutely. Again, if you've just tuned in, please make sure you come back tomorrow evening. We have Scott McDonald, former Socceroo, former Celtic FC player, former Middlesbrough player. He has played in the Champions League. He has played in the Championship. He's played in the Scottish Premier League. He's done it all, and it will be an amazing chat with him tomorrow night. So please tune in, and then make sure you come back on Thursday for our Premier League season preview. RJ, you going to wrap this thing up, my man?
Yeah, just wanted to say thanks again to not just the live chat, but everybody else who's been supporting us. We're continuing to hit new heights on this channel. The boys here have been working hard behind the scenes, and it's been a real privilege to be part of. But until then, enjoy your week, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Come on, Sammy.